What's going on, everyone? Happy Saturday. Hopefully everyone is doing well, staying safe, healthy, and just having a great Saturday so far. If you had to take a COVID test, a flu test, maybe it's RSV or some other virus, I hope you have tested negative. If you did test positive, I hope you have a full and speedy recovery with no long-term and no long COVID issues. It is time now for the Saturday edition of the Virus Update for Saturday, February 15th, 2025. If you're new to my channel, welcome to my channel. You have just clicked onto the channel that gives you daily updates on all those viruses that can make us sick. That's right, I do a 15 to 25 minute video each and every day as needed on all those viruses that are going around. Flu, COVID, RSV, norovirus, and many other viruses, all to keep you safe and informed with what's going on. Want to stay informed? Just subscribe down below. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Let's try for 200 like button hits today, and of course I'm on my pathway to try and make 10,000 subscribers here on the channel. I want to keep as many people safe and informed as possible. And of course, share this video with anyone you know, and leave your comments down below, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Alrighty, we do have several news stories to talk about today, probably more than yesterday, and then we're just going to take a look at some data and run over some numbers in today's video. Of course, tomorrow will be the Sunday wastewater update, unless it turns into a busy news day. As of right now, it may not be a busy news day tomorrow, but, you know, things can change. Wyoming is reporting its first human bird flu case confirmed, and unlike the case in Ohio, this case is hospitalized. Wyoming's first case of H5N1 avian influenza has been confirmed in a woman, and this does represent the third confirmed hospitalization related to H5N1 in the United States. So, over the past week, we have seen multiple new human H5N1 cases, and I think we're going to continue to see more states report their first case. I think it's just going to be what happens. Are we coming to an H5N1 bird flu pandemic in humans? I don't think we're there yet, but just have to watch how this progresses. Like I said last year, like I've said this year, at any given time, this could jump and start really rapidly spreading. So it's obviously something that we're going to continue to keep a very close eye on. And speaking of bird flu, we have this problem, which has been an ongoing problem. At least 2 cats in Oregon have died after eating raw pet food contaminated with H5N1 bird flu. So, yes, yet again, we see this pop up where there is H5N1 in raw pet food, and then the cats go on to die. Very sad what's happening there. All right, Pope Francis, we have to talk about him. And to be honest with you, I should probably just make a tracking thread, or a thread just for Pope Francis himself over on my site. He's been having so many health problems over the past couple of years. And remember, about a week ago, or was it 2 weeks now? I don't remember how long it's been. But there was the story saying that he is dealing with bronchitis. And, well, now he is being hospitalized for bronchitis. He has been admitted to the hospital in Rome. And this story is obviously from yesterday. I did see another story this morning that stated he will not be given his mass tomorrow. He won't be doing that. And he's in the hospital for bronchitis. They're observation. So, yeah, not good. Pope Francis, of course, we give you well wishes and prayers that you have a full and speedy recovery from this. He is 88 years old at this time. In Michigan, they are reporting their first pediatric death of flu for the season. Of course, this is not a good thing. And it does say here that 57 children across the country have died of flu this year. So, yeah. Flu continues to be a big problem, and we do have more things to talk about in flu. In Arkansas, a teen has been placed on life support after catching flu. Yeah, this is not a good thing. And it says, according to the Centers for Disease Control, an estimated 13,000 people have died from flu. And in Arkansas, 47 have died, including 1 child this year. So flu is really bad this year. And that 13,000, if it continues at this pace, an average season does just over 30 to 33,000 deaths, I think is what I am reading. We may pass that this year. It is possible that this flu season does pass that, because even once flu starts dropping in the United States, which eventually it will, it looks like maybe early signs are showing flu might be peaking. Even once it starts dropping, the death wave, just like COVID, the backside, will probably not peak until several weeks later. So flu is going to continue to be a problem for several more weeks, probably into the start of spring. All right, bird flu is a problem in Tennessee. 125 to 150 sandhill crane deaths in southeast Tennessee have been reported. Take a look at this. This is a scene that we've been seeing unfold all across the country, and we're seeing it more and more and more. And the fact that we're seeing this happen more, it's like I said in the beginning, any given time, we could start to see an increase in human cases of bird flu because, people go to parks, they go jogging, they take the dog for a walk, whatever the case may be, and you're going to come across birds that are dead. If you do, please stay away. Do not go near them. Call the proper authorities. Call your local wildlife society, your game commission, whoever it is you have to call. Call those agencies. And you know what? I've been thinking lately, maybe I should have a thread on my site with links to each state with contact information for these agencies. Maybe that's something that would be a project that would probably never get finished, but it's something to maybe I'm going to consider doing down the line, because you know what? A lot of people are coming across dead birds or whatnot, and they're not knowing what to do. And the proper thing to do is just call your local agency. Like if it's a city, like here in Philadelphia, we have a 311 system. That's who you would call, and they would direct you to the proper agency. All right, here we go. Another news site that's giving us their notifications. Anywho, fourth teenager dies from flu in San Diego County, California. California is getting hit really, really hard with the flu, and you're going to see some numbers from CJS at the end of this video that show flu deaths in California. And let me tell you, I couldn't believe how high they are. In fact, a little teaser, they're higher than the numbers in the COVID in California for deaths. Flu is oh so bad this year. All right, New Jersey, this is really concerning. I'm really concerned about this. New Jersey Health Department alerts residents of confirmed case of measles and urges individuals to stay up to date on their vaccines. And it does sound like this person went to several hospitals, several different places. So there is definitely potential for exposure. And we know the hospitals have been busy lately. So we really need to keep an eye on this. I mean, Texas had a confirmed measles case a couple weeks ago. 1 became 2, 2 became 4, then 22, and now, what is it, 48 cases in western Texas. So, I mean, we seriously need to keep our eyes on this because measles is not going good. Up in Ontario, Canada, they're having a confirmed case of measles, and this one had exposure at a hospital and a school, and it looks like this is in Hamilton. The Hamilton Public Health Services confirmed a positive case of measles in a Hamilton child on Friday, saying residents may have been exposed to the virus at both the Holy Name of Jesus Catholic Elementary School and McMaster's Children Hospital Emergency Department over the past couple of weeks. Yeah, not a good thing whatsoever. Wastewater Scan did do their weekly update on the wastewater and virus thread, but I think we will go to that tomorrow. So we're going to skip over that and save it for tomorrow. After all, tomorrow will be Wastewater Sunday. All right, I posted this poll question yesterday, and I said, if you have had COVID, have you had to see a specialist for a new health issue? So far, 63, there you go, it just changed. 63.3% said yes, 36.7% said no, out of 256 votes with 7 hours left. At this rate, it is looking like the yeses are going to win. People are saying yes, they have had to see a specialist. And I may have done this poll question again a long time ago before there was the mass exodus of the COVID cautious community on X. Still a lot of people exist, but with the change in hands at X, it did change the community somewhat. And people are saying various different things. I can raise my hand. I've been to an allergist. I've been to, this is before case 1. We don't know what's going on with case 2 yet. We've been to an allergist, a pulmonologist, and, well, one visit at a GI specialist, which did not go oh so well. But, yeah, I can say yes for myself. Moving on now to taking a look at what is going on in Canada, and hopefully we get an update to the viral activity levels. And they're the same. Moderate for COVID-19. Flu A is high. Flu B is moderate at this time. And RSV is running in the high category at this time. Taking a look at Pinellas County, Florida. And they do have some sick person calls right now. And they also have a breathing problem call going on. This is for EMS. This is live. This updates constantly. Taking a look at what is going on with air qualities around the United States. And we can see here, if it does come up, there's still some scattered problems in the west. And right along that I-80 corridor continues to be a problem as well. And in the plains, too. So there are quite a few areas that are dealing with bad air qualities for today. I want to learn more about the climate and weather. I do have another channel for that. It is Climate Data Report. I don't know if I'm posting a video there today. I may, because there's this big storm threat in the east, and there's, well, the thunderstorm threat for today. I may do a brief update on that because I'm seeing so many people say, oh, there's going to be a big snowstorm in the northeast. We don't know that. It's, today is, what, Saturday? Yeah, it's on Thursday. It could definitely change. All right, moving on. Philadelphia had 843 EMS incidents reported yesterday. Yeah, you can see here, we had the parade yesterday, too, and that's just a small number of the people that were there. There were a ton. There were probably likely 8 million people. We won't have a full estimate probably until next week, so yeah, I'm worried what the viruses are going to do after all that exposure over the past several days, over the past week with all the celebrations from our Philadelphia Eagles winning. Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, I'm seeing a lot of fall calls right now. It is snowing outside, so it could be slippery. That snow is going to change to rain, but maybe that's why there's so many fall calls. Taking a look at Chester County, and we can see here there are several several different calls right now. We have cardiac arrest. There we go. We've been seeing that a lot lately. We do have sick person a couple times, and actually just one respiratory call at this time. Earlier it was higher. Taking a look at Pennsylvania hospitals, and central Pennsylvania does have some problems, as does portions of, let's see, yeah, Lehigh Valley and southeast Pennsylvania, but again, not as bad as it has been lately. And taking a look at what is going on in New Jersey, and we can see here that there are a few hospitals dealing with some problems. Not many at this time, just 3 right now. Taking a look at what is going on with wastewater, and I do have to update you on something, and hopefully this is going to work on wastewater scan. Let's refresh this. I want to update you on Boston. Remember the other day I showed you Boston was starting to really rise? So let's go over to Boston, and the update is that it's not rising as much. It corrected. And here we go. COVID in Boston. Yeah, it started to go up, but now there's a wonky movement down. The point overall is that rise is not as sharp. The level is not as high. And you can see it's also categorized at medium at this point. So that is somewhat of a change from what we were seeing before. New York State, most recent update, 1,571 COVID cases. And New York State hospitalization data shows that they have 853 people in hospital, 76 people in the ICU. All right, if you did not see this yesterday, here's the influenza-like illness map. It's just about the worst this map has ever been. Yeah, there's a couple states that are doing minimal. Don't ask me why. When you have everywhere else doing so bad. Why? They're just randomly doing okay. Purple is the highest level on this map, and we have New Hampshire. We have Massachusetts, New York City. We have New Jersey, Maryland, Virginia, South Carolina, Tennessee, New Mexico, Kansas, Nebraska, Oregon, Washington, all at the highest possible level, the highest shade, which is purple on this map. That is really bad for influenza-like activity, and even Pennsylvania, it's listed high here. The news was saying it was very high. I don't know why local news was saying it, but it's listed high, but even Pennsylvania, my state, is doing bad. California is still very high. And again, in just a few minutes, I'm going to show you some numbers for California that are really bad. Texas, very high. You get the point here. This map, it's really bad. Look where it was back at December of last year, and then look at that. It just progressively got worse. At one point, it was all green, and eventually it will go all green again. We got a long way to go until that happens. Alrighty, let's take a look at what is going on with the latest COVID variant. Let me refresh this, because if you don't refresh it, it does X out after a while. XEC is at 37%, and LP 8.1 is at 31%. That eventually is going to take over. I don't know if that's going to be the next update, but it is going to happen in the near future. Alright, I want to take a look at this now. These are the percent of emergency department visits with diagnosed COVID-19 in the United States, all ages, all regions. So we're going through all the states listed. This does miss a few states, and it does show some that don't update as well. First off, nationally, it is dropping for COVID. Alabama at this time is dropping. Alaska is just gradually dropping overall. Arizona is dropping. Arkansas is dropping. California for COVID is dropping at this time. Colorado was dropping. Now it's rising a little bit. Connecticut is dropping. Delaware is seeing a rise at this time. That's something we have to keep an eye on. Washington, D.C., not really dropping, but not really rising either. Florida is slightly dropping. Florida looks a little bit similar to the national picture. Georgia, take a look at that. Georgia's actually seeing a little bit of a rise. Guam is fine. It's low in Guam. Hawaii, not really dropping or rising at this point. Slight drop in Idaho. Illinois, hopefully about to drop. Indiana's starting to drop. Iowa is dropping. Kansas is actually rising. Kentucky was rising, now leveling off a little bit. Louisiana is flat at this time. Maine is dropping. Maryland is rising a little bit at this time, maybe starting to level off. Maybe it's about to drop. Massachusetts is dropping. Michigan is dropping. Mississippi, can't really tell what that's doing. Is that a slight drop or a slight rise? It's not really moving all that much. Montana, maybe a slight rise there at the end. Hard to say. Nebraska, not really moving much. Neither is Nevada. If anything, Nevada is dropping. New Hampshire is definitely dropping after they got hit pretty hard. New Jersey, ever so slight rise. New Mexico is dropping. New York is dropping. North Carolina, I would say, is flat at this time. North Dakota is starting to rise a little bit. Ohio has leveled off. Oregon is dropping. Pennsylvania, thank goodness, is dropping. Rhode Island is dropping at this time. South Carolina, overall, it has rose a little bit, but I think that's going to drop soon, hopefully. South Dakota is dropping. Tennessee is rising at this time. Texas is starting to drop. Utah is dropping. Vermont is dropping. Virginia is rising somewhat. Washington dropping a little bit. And West Virginia is dropping some. Wisconsin dropping some. And Wyoming, as you can see here, is not reporting at this time. And I don't believe we mentioned Missouri. For whatever reason, Missouri never seems to be on this. Tomorrow, I hope to get a couple international reports out there from various different places. Haven't seen anything. I can only report on what I can find. If I don't know what's going on in an international country, I can't show you anything unless I find something. So, sorry for all my international followers. I know I have several now. I really wish I could find stuff for your countries, and I'm going to keep looking. I'm going to look some more this evening. Alrighty, let's take a look at some data now. A lot of data now from CJS 83172, and this is going to be the final thing for today's video. And we're starting off with his numbers from Thursday and then Friday. Some of them are daily, some of them are weekly. First off, Florida. This was their daily number for Thursday. They had 538 new COVID cases. Now, mind you, we're mostly talking about COVID here. When we get to Friday, there will be some flu here and there. Florida, daily number, 538 new cases of COVID and 14 new deaths. New Jersey, weekday COVID number was 580 new cases and 3 new deaths. Not sure how much longer New Jersey's COVID numbers will be reported each weekday. I think that's going to be the case for a lot of states going forward. New York's Thursday update was 1,544 new cases. Puerto Rico, 100 new cases. Colorado, weekly update was 229 new positive tests. A case positivity rate of 3.3%. And 15 deaths reported to the CDC data tracker. Connecticut, weekly number, 860 new cases and 3 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. Washington, D.C., weekly number, 99 new cases. Strangely, no deaths have been reported in D.C. by the CDC data tracker since November 2024, he says. Okay. Indiana, weekly, 2,717 new cases and 32 deaths reported by the CDC. Kentucky, weekly, was 2,059 new cases and 34 deaths reported by CDC data tracker. Massachusetts, a weekly number, 1,410 new cases, 12 deaths. Minnesota, 1,518 new cases and 25 new deaths. Nevada, weekly number, 250 new cases. New Mexico, weekly, 458 new cases and 13 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. North Carolina, weekly, 653 new hospital visits and 36 deaths reported. Ohio, weekly, as mentioned yesterday, and I mentioned it on Thursday, that Ohio had 5,422 cases and 46 new state-reported deaths. The CDC data tracker had 61 new Ohio deaths. That I did not know about. Oklahoma, a COVID test case positivity rate of 5.6% and 23 deaths reported by CDC data tracker. Utah, 693 people added to the living with COVID tab and 1 new death. Vermont, this is bad for Vermont, 162 new cases and 6 new deaths. All right, in a moment we will get to Friday numbers, but I have to remind you now, it's time now for our hydration break. Drink of choice today is water. Please remember to stay hydrated. You know, there's a lot of different health reasons, and just to stay healthy alone, always make sure you're drinking plenty of water each and every day. Let's take that hydration break now. Alrighty, I needed that, and I think you needed that too. We have quite a bit more numbers to get through for Friday. Florida, a daily number, 408 new cases and 19 new deaths reported. And for the week, they had 3,405 cases and 72 deaths over the last 7 days. New Jersey's weekday number on Friday was 389 new cases and 3,721 cases reported for the week with 13 deaths. New York on Friday had 1,608 new cases. Their weekly number was 8,701 over the last 7 days, along with 730 CDC reported hospitalizations and 35 new deaths. Puerto Rico had 170 new cases and 1 death on Friday. For the week, 1,262 cases and 3 deaths. Alabama weekly was 221 CDC reported hospitalizations and 21 deaths. Arizona weekly was reported 15 deaths. Arkansas, 84 CDC reported hospitalizations. There is nothing for their deaths this week. California, 807 CDC reported COVID hospitalizations and 83 new COVID deaths, but they also had 190. I'm going to repeat, 190 new flu deaths. That is California. Come on, your flu is really going bad there right now. Georgia, weekly number, 291 CDC reported hospitalizations and 10 deaths. Idaho, 723 emergency department visits and 2 deaths. Illinois, 526 CDC reported hospitalizations and 36 deaths. Iowa, 108 CDC reported hospitalizations and 14 deaths. Kansas, weekly number, 92 CDC reported hospitalizations and 8 deaths. Louisiana, 982 emergency department visits and 15 deaths. Mississippi, 132 hospitalizations and 11 deaths. Missouri, 209 CDC reported hospitalizations and 17 deaths. The following ones I'm reading are weekly numbers. Montana, 219 new cases and 1 new death. Nebraska, 522 positive tests and a test case positivity rate of 7.7% and 4 deaths. These are for COVID now. The only flu number I reported so far from his report is that California number. Taking a look at what's going on in New Hampshire, 8 new state reported deaths. In Pennsylvania, this is actually an improvement. Pennsylvania, 1,296 CDC reported hospitalizations. That improved, however, 66 deaths were added, so that's still terrible in Pennsylvania. South Carolina, weekly number, 202 CDC reported hospitalizations and 20 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. Texas, weekly COVID cases, 3,503 new cases, 796 CDC reported hospitalizations, and 43 deaths reported by the CDC data tracker. West Virginia, weekly number, 947 new positive tests, a test case positivity rate of 7.15%, and 5 deaths reported to CDC. Wisconsin, weekly number, 1,209 new positive tests. Their positivity rate is 5.6%. 22 deaths have been reported, and the U.S. this week reported another 966 new deaths over the past week. The current total for number of COVID deaths in the United States, reminder that some deaths did not get reported, some are going to be showing up as excess deaths, but this is the total that we know of from the CDC, would be 1,220,168 total U.S. deaths, and I would like to think a majority of these deaths probably could have been prevented if we took just a little bit more precautions. Ridiculous that we've lost that many people to COVID over the past 5 years. We're now in 2025. Alrighty, folks, that does it for today's virus update. We'll have another update tomorrow, which will be Wastewater Sunday, and of course, we are going to try and find some international stuff if we can. I can't give you any guarantees, but we'll see what I can do. If you enjoyed this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe down below, hit that notification bell, and share this video with anyone you know. I will see you all again next time. Until I see you again next time, stay safe, everyone. Have a fantastic Saturday evening, and thanks for watching.